Welcome to the AI Automations for Business podcast. We're your hosts, Katie and Noel, and we'll be discussing how you can use AI for your business along with the latest news, updates, and automations to help you stay ahead of the curve, allowing you to grow and scale your business more efficiently. Please be sure to subscribe, and I hope you enjoy this episode. Hello, welcome back to another episode. Hi, I'm Katie, and I've also got Noel with me. Give us a shout out, Noel.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good as always. How are you?
Yeah, fine and dandy, thank you. Looking forward to this episode because we've had a question from someone. So we've had a question from Steve. Thank you, Steve, for your question. So Steve asks, how do I go from ChatGPT to building AI automations? And I thought that was such a great question because I know that so many other people are probably thinking something similar. And I feel like you're the perfect person to answer this as well, Noel.
Yeah, been there, done that, and I've got many t-shirts.
Yes. So I thought we could kind of do like a step-by-step guide for those who are currently using ChatGPT and then obviously want to implement, AI automations. So why did you go from like just using ChatGPT to like AI automations? Because I feel like that is quite a big jump, isn't it?
Yeah, it is quite a jump. So what I was doing was like creating like a generic content and stuff and responding to emails using ChatGPT and things like that. And then, like I say, I saw a YouTube video and they were like, look, we can do all of this zero code, using all these different tools. I think for that one was like Google Sheets. And I was like, well, I've got Google Sheets. Is there a way that I could then integrate that into my workflow? And then from that point, I got into make.com and I was like, wow, there's thousands of apps that I could seamlessly connect. So, that opened up a whole horizon of things that could be done. But yeah, you got to start small though.
Yeah. So I guess like we said, we'll do kind of like a step-by-step guide. So I guess like the first thing is it's actually realizing and knowing what you can automate, because for those who, are just using ChatGPT, it feels, I would say, very intimidating to know what you can actually automate to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes.
where would you start with that?
So I would first assess what you're using it for. Are you using it as more of like a to and from chat model, where you just having a conversation with it? If so, then automations isn't really the way to go. But if you're always looking for like structured, the same style of output every single time, then that's kind of the point where you can then start to look at AI automations, because what they're really good at is creating consistent outputs every single time. So if you're happy with that consistency, and like say you're creating like a proposal document or a quotation document to send to customers, like things that are ideal for automations. So step one is really looking at what you use ChatGPT for and if that would actually suit an automation, because it doesn't suit everything at the moment.
Okay. So it's kind of looking at the things that you are doing on repeat time and time again, and you're kind of thinking, is there a way that I can automate this? That's maybe it is like proposals or quotes, or maybe it is that you're, when someone signs up to something, you're sending out a contract or terms and conditions, things like that. Those would be all really helpful things to start with AI automations.
Definitely, yes. It makes it even easier if you already have like a standard process in place. So like you're saying, where you've got different attachments that you might put on emails and things that go along with like a contract or proposal, then knowing that up front will make life so much easier. So if you've already got that in place, then it kind of makes your journey from ChatGPT to automation so much simpler. But you don't have to have it. You can make it up as you go.
Yeah. Okay. So you've worked out what things you want to automate. Then what would be the next step in the process?
So you can kind of get lost with the amount of apps that you can connect in tools like Make and N8N. So what I would first do is kind of take a step back and then think, well, what tools do we have within the business that we could potentially use as a way to trigger these workflows. So like you may already have like a CRM in place that's creating contracts and things like, you've got your sales pipeline or whatever is all in there, then maybe that is a good starting point for your trigger to start these automations. So it's kind of looking at what you already have and then figuring out if that can be automated. And then the key to automation is if you go on make.com, they list all of their apps, so you can search for whatever you use. If it's not in there, there's no need to panic straight away, because what you can do is, providing the software that you use or the application you use has a API, then you can add that application into make.com. There are set modules within there that allow you to connect to anything.
Why?
So yeah, you've kind of got to make sure either it's in there or it has an API. If it's neither, then that's not going to work.
Okay.
We need to have something that will allow a connection to the outside world.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
But then, obviously, if you can then also take it a bit further and say, well, look, is great that this tool connects to the outside world, but is it actually the right one for this process? Is there maybe something else? And then maybe assess, changing subscriptions and things like that for platforms that may be better. But first things first, always look at what you currently have before.
Yeah, because you're
subscribing.
you're used to it, it works for you. Or
Yes.
maybe actually that you don't really like using it, so you want to find something a bit better or a bit different.
Exactly, yeah, I've been there.
I know sometimes we think, oh, well, this does the job, but we also hate using it, and we, think, we have to use this because it's what works. But I think we're so inundated now with apps and platforms that all do very similar things.
Yeah.
That we do now have a choice, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It is nice having all those choices.
Yep. Okay. So we've chosen what apps or platforms we want to use. We have figured out they've either got an API or that they are in Make. Then where do we go?
So this is the fun bit, is building that automation out. So you kind of need to think along like a step-by-step process. So you're sending out proposals, so your CRM triggers that process. So it's like, well, what needs to happen next? Do we need to put that into AI? Do we need to tag it as something else within that tool, or what? So we kind of need to think about how this is all going to look and what the final output's going to be. Is this going to, be sent out on Gmail, straight to the client and things like that? But then we've kind of got to figure out all of the fun stuff in the middle. Are we creating these documents in Google Docs? Are we going to then just send them as a PDF, or are we just going to attach links? There's all kinds of stuff in the middle that you can do. But if you know what the final output's going to be, that's going to make life so much easier. But I guess also that's kind of really key within this setup process is, which AI model are you going to use? Because that's going to kind of make or break your automation in some ways. Mainly because some of them are really good at providing consistent outputs and others aren't. So, you don't want to start off a document that you're going to send to a customer that says, well, hey, here's your document about so-and-so. And it's like, and then it goes into, it's like, no, I just want the paragraphs for that document. I don't need any reasoning or context, which every model will always give you as standard anyway. So some models are really bad at that sort of stuff. So, and then it also comes down to cost, because obviously you're going to pay every single time that a document's created. So they could also, depending on how many things you're creating, cost could also be a factor. So yeah, there's all kinds of considerations within the setup process.
Okay. And then that is how you go from ChatGPT to creating AI automation.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. It's a fun thing to do. I would always say start off with something small. So the first one I ever built was so I have a website form, and basically whenever someone filled that in, it would then create an email response, but it would go off and look at their website with AI. So it could have some extra context about what that company does. It would know all about my services, and then it would create a bespoke response based on that customer's inquiry kind of thing. So that was something really quick and easy that you can do. So I would kind of say, well, do something small first. Don't go into, I'm going to completely revamp my entire sales process from start to finish. That's probably because you'll get lost in the middle and then you might give up.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the email one is a really easy one to start with. Unfortunately, though, you can only do it with Outlook in Google, can't you? So Gmail or Outlook or Hotmail.
Yes. Currently, yes.
Currently, yeah, which is really frustrating. But if you do use Outlook or Gmail, then yeah, you're in for a treat. And we've actually done a course on how to automate your email inbox. We do recommend that you don't fully automate it. So, for example, this is great if you're a business that does have lots of quotes. So maybe, for example, I don't know, let's go with a florist. So you have lots of people coming in asking for quotes and you feel like you're spending so much time answering these quotes, or, you're doing a full day of work at the flower shop and then on the evening you're having to go through all the quotes and it takes, a lot of time. You could automate that. And then all you would need to do is go into your draft folder where all of these emails have been created by your AI automation, and then you can read them over if any of them need tweaking, or there might be an odd occasion where one might need rewriting altogether. Before hitting send, you can do that. So that's going to save you so much time, and that's such a easy AI automation to implement. Wouldn't you say, Noel?
Absolutely, yeah. It is quite straightforward. But you actually raise a good point, actually, when it comes to building automations, is having that human in the loop. So you also need to understand, is there going to be points where I don't want to send this direct to the customer? Like the emails, it's like, well, I want it in drafts. I don't want to just send it. You do have the option to just send it, but is that wise? So, you kind of, need to have some points in there where you think, well, someone needs to look at this before we approve.
Yeah,
the email
definitely.
one's a very good one.
Yeah, and if anyone's interested in automating their Outlook or Gmail emails, then we'll put the link below for our course and you can go and check that out. Noel, is there anything else that you would like to add to Steve's question? Thank you so much, by the way, Steve, for sending in your question. And if anyone else has got any other questions that you want us to answer on our podcast, then do let us know. You can come and join us in our free LinkedIn group, which is AI Automations for Business. Again, we'll leave a link below. But if you come and put your questions in there, we can absolutely answer them for you on this podcast episode.
I've got nothing further to add. I think we've covered everything within there to get everyone started. So yeah, like Katie said, if there's any other questions, you know where to find me.
Yep, amazing. Okay, well, thank you so much for listening, and we will catch you next time for another episode next week.